Hello, my name is Natasha Phillips, and I'm glad to be here to present my work for this presentation of my final project. So let's get started. The first thing I want to show you is my bank for my magazine. Now, with this, it was one of my hardest working layouts that I've ever had to work with. Making sure every paragraph is within the margins and making sure everything was aligned just right. The lesson I learned from this experience is that white space is your friend. And you can see right here that with the white space, it makes everything look clean. It makes everything look organized and, flow better. Now for the color, I chose to use the color blue because it symbols as a sign of importance to me. And when I think of the color blue, I think of a business organization. I started out with this magazine with just um, basically trying to get everything on there and not worrying about how creative I can be with this. But during a lot of brainstorming and a lot of revising, I learned that with making everything not just organized, but also adding pictures as a way to bring out this display of the magazine, it really helps everything make a lot of sense, basically. When people read a magazine, they want to be able to know what this is relating to. So that's my magazine. Then with the Geno's menu, the Geno's menu was one of my favorite ones. And I enjoyed doing the tweaking and everything with this because as a graphic arts designer, when I think of a pizza parlor, I'm thinking of the colors red, white, and green, especially with the name Geno's. You immediately think Italian. And with a dash of cheese color, as you can see, I put the menu in this color because it reminds me of the cheese I see on a pizza. Now, at first with this assignment, I started making the letters really big because I thought that the bigger the better and the more the customer can be able to see. But in time, I learned that bigger is not always better, and it certainly doesn't make the menu look very clean. So compared to that, from what I did in the very beginning of this course in Design 105, you can see how well organized everything is. And the one thing that, I was not told about until now is that you got to also put an address because you want your customers to come back. So they have to know where the location is. So that's my Geno's menu. Now, my Tokyo cultural designer was that I had to find a country and view its cultures. That was the first thing to do, was to find a country, explore it, learn about it, and know what their styles and their trends represent. why do they do those trends. Now, Tokyo is mainly where most of our products come from. Us Americans that use a lot of electronics or buy toys or games for our kids or for even ourselves, that's where most of our products come from because they deal well with electronics. Now, for the people of Tokyo, they seem to express themselves with a lot of anime or animal products, especially with our women folks, our women's in Tokyo, Japan. They use skirts, ponytails, pigtails. They wear dresses, uniforms, and sometimes colorful costumes, or they dress themselves as animals. Like, for example, this little anime character, she's dressed up like a bear. Now, as we know in America, you don't see any women dress up as bears, but this is a way they like to be creative and express themselves. And Tokyo is one of the most lit up places you could ever be at or live in, next to Las Vegas. And it's one of the largest. That's what I learned when dealing with the cultural facts. Now, this is a Facebook example that we were supposed to mock up, and I think I did an okay job, was to establish the difference between their social and traditionals. And what I learned in the social parts is that they do play some of the sports that are kind of similar to ours, whereas only some of them are different, like sumo. That's a culture of wrestling, whereas we just use wrestling. I'm just going to say that, make that short. And we were also supposed to visualize a website where, for people that want to go to Tokyo and explore or just take a vacation there, or they can go on the site and learn about it. And this is how I would express it in billboard form for people that are visiting. So that's Tokyo. Now this one is my foundation. Now for this one, I'm also going to use my Adobe Acrobat Pro. And there are some reasons why, because of this outlining of white, which kind of expresses it as just a shade. So here we go. Here it is in Acrobat Pro. This is supposed to be the business card, which is displayed here, but for some reason the white space is very invisible. But anyway, get it on. This foundation is supposed to represent the support of children and giving them a better start of education for after school. And as we all know, we all want what's best for the children around the world, and we all want them to have an education. So I displayed this in a colorful manner as a way of comfort for a child, and knowing that this is kid friendly and this is where they would want to start and begin their education and get stronger and better at it, so that when they go to school, it's not so much of a problem. And Stella's Foundation has also worked with charities, as I have put in my assignments when I first began this. This is the cover page. And I'm showing you it here because you can't see it on the Behance. And this is the envelope. Okay. And now my wine bottle. Excuse me. Let me correct myself. Wine box. Now, my wine box, which started out in design 244, as we all know, we as people of America, we have our own taste in wine and how we like our wine. Some of us like it fruity, some of us like it with a little kick to it. I, however, wanted it to express as a way of being not for 20-year-olds, maybe for somebody in their 30s or so, that strong of a wine. So first I started out with the color purple, but I was encouraged to maybe go in a different color route because purple wasn't really working for this type of display. So that's when I got the idea of doing black and red to bring out that strength, that bond, that wow, this is really good wine. I want to try this. Now, the white, me adding the white was a last minute decision because you don't want to just use all of one color. Sometimes in a brand, you want to use more than one color. You want to use either 2 or 3 colors. And as you can see, this really worked out, especially with me putting the wine bottle inside the wine box. And lastly is my milk cartons. I started out with 5, but because it was a lot to handle, I just made 3. 3 different flavors: whole milk, chocolate milk, and strawberry. This was done in design 244. It started out as too much on one thing at a time. So I decided to remove some of the stuff and start with a totally different logo. And that's when I came up with a logo for the cow. And the reason why I chose the cow that's winking his eyes and licking his chops is to show that this brand is not only nutritious, it also tastes good. It could probably taste better than any milk you've ever tried, and so that'll get a customer hype to want to try it. This was also a way to begin learning about 3D art and 3D effects. So that is my art there for that project. And the same thing is displayed here with everything else all combined into one PDF format and being turned in. I wanted to show it this way just so in case I could not turn in both file and URL, you will know from the URL that the assignment has been done and it has also been displayed in my presentation. Now I want to also go into one last thing, and that's LinkedIn. Now if you'll pardon my ignorance, I started out with just using this site just to connect with some of my people that I haven't seen in a long time. What I did not know until my instructor pointed out to me is that This site is a way to help you get employed, to help you start your career. And with that, I started to not just add me or about myself. I started to add where I worked, the job that I had in a previous time, my education, what my skills are in, what to also know about me, a little extra stuff to know about me, some of my awards, and something that I did in the past, which was volunteer at the Helping Hand Center for Children. I also added my causes and what I care about, and some of the things that I'm already following as we speak. So, LinkedIn has just proven to be a fantastic place to start your business. And it used to be the only way you could start a business is by phone call, but now this is a great way for those people to reach out to you without them having to call you. They can reach out to you on the internet anytime, any place. And I feel this is just a wonderful place for me or anybody to start out in getting their career started up and it lasting throughout a lifetime. Well, I thank you for taking the time to look at my presentation. It has been a grand adventure in learning what it takes to be a graphic arts designer in these short 2 years. And may God bless you all on your journeys to your careers as well. This is Natasha signing off.